What's up, guys? It's Rico here, CEO of SourceFind Asia, co-host of the Main in China podcast, and the host of the SourceFind Asia YouTube channel, of course. But I'm also going to be your host for the SFA Digital Summit, and today is day one, so welcome. We're going to be covering market research and building a brand. So we have anything from crowdfunding to Amazon FBA to general e-commerce. We're going to be covering marketing for Amazon FBA, building an Amazon FBA business that you can sell, how to understand your market, how to target your market. And I don't know about you guys, but like for me, I can't get my day started without some green juice and coffee. So we're going to get green juice right now before we get into the presentations.
The idea for the brand came from a few things. I follow a couple of YouTubers and other apparel brands. So the main one has been Gymshark out of the UK, and another company called Alphalete out of Houston, Texas. So just seeing these guys who've started these brands and built them up, with my thinking beforehand would have been there would be no space in the market when you've got Nike and Adidas and Reebok. But these guys have had successful launches and built these brands up over the last 5 or 6 years. So looking at the Asian market, I really saw a gap. No one really doing it at a massive scale here. There's a few kind of small people in Hong Kong, a few small people in Singapore, but with the growth of the industry and the fitness industry in Asia and mainland China over the next 10 to 15 years, it was something that I really saw there was an opportunity. Sourcing the right factory and fabrics. As I mentioned, my background is in sourcing and manufacturing in China, but dealing with apparel is a very different thing. Lead times are much longer. Trying to get the right fabrics at smaller MOQs has been the biggest challenge for the brand. I had a couple of contacts that I spoke to. We got some samples in. A lot of very hit and miss stuff. Had one issue with samples where the factory didn't even make them. And then eventually when I got to the Canton Fair that May, I came across a few different factories that said they'd be able to help us out. One in particular, a very large brand, and it turned out they produced for Gymshark. Salesman was full of promises that he could produce at small MOQs and do everything for us. Jumped on a train, went up to Xiamen. On the way up, I got a message from another factory who happened to be in the area, who I'd met at the Canton Fair, but hadn't really registered much interest with them. So I set up a second meeting with them that afternoon. Got to the first meeting, huge setup, massive company, really nice offices. Did the whole full tour. Sat down with a different salesperson who wasn't as friendly as the person I'd met at the Canton Fair, and started going through samples and what we wanted to do. So after about an hour, she turned around and told me their MOQ was 1,000 pieces per SKU, and I'd been promised 50 to 100 from the original guy. So tried to argue my case, but when I had a leg to stand on, was told no. Left that meeting not in the best moods, and decided that we'd get back to the hotel and go off to the second meeting. Arrived back to the hotel, my DD went to the wrong hotel, so it was causing more issues, and then eventually got it on my way to the other factory. Arrived and was met by my contact outside, not the nicest area. Once we got in the lift and went up, started sort of hearing this music and clapping, and doors opened, and there was about 25 people standing there clapping and singing me in, which immediately put me in a much better mood. A nice big welcome to the factory, Alan sign on their whiteboard as well. So that struck home with me straight away. I've never had that experience going into China for 11 years. So that was very cool. I had a really good chat with the owner. It's a family business like mine. There's 5 kids in it, and they were all up for helping smaller companies grow, as they were relatively new themselves. So I have a super relationship with them, which has been vital for the last couple of years. They really help in lots of different ways, and we're building the business nicely together, which has been really great. But yeah, in terms of sourcing the right factory, yeah, the Canton Fair for me was the way to go. Obviously with people who we can't get into China at the moment. So, I mean, different routes like myself or Source Find Asia, I think are the way to go at the moment.